official announcement of Stephen Staunton's departure as manager of Ireland. Lots of interest in what Delaney had to say, and nobody more interested than our studio guests, John, Eamon and Liam. When everybody, Eamon, I'll start with you. Everybody knows now that the gamble failed. But when you listen to John Delaney talking about taking the German model and trying to translate it here, was it a gamble worth taking?
No, it wasn't. There is no German model that they took and transplanted here. There is no model anywhere in the world for the appointment of Steve Staunton. And that's just PR speak.
Yeah.
The rest of the interview is depressing because, okay, we'll accept that mutual consent may have been what Steve required, and you know, we'll accept that. Clearly he wanted to stay, but we'll accept that. The next question is how they're going to find the new manager. And they've subcontracted that particular exercise out, or they're going to football professionals. Now this is laughable. First of all, there's a way to do this, and it is to use your judgment, draw up a profile, get a shortlist, and go to get the best people who are out of work or available, or if you have to, people in work to headhunt them. Now, there are no wise professionals out there. What he said was that the 10-man board of the FAI, the clowns, who dreamt up this appointment and the previous one and the one before that, are now going to put the names in a hat of...
Oh, well, that's a very cynical response to what he said.
What he said was that the 10 men are going to be asked to think over the next 2 weeks of names of people that they think might be...
yeah, but that's additional to external professional advice.
If you want to know where the next crisis is beginning from, it's beginning from here. They're going to pick people who they've read about in newspapers, who have a reputation or are eminent. And those people or that person is, according to John Delaney, going to appoint the next manager.
But
now, hold on.
Sorry, but...
That is a complete abdication of responsibility. If they wanted to do it right, here's what they could do. They could get professional headhunters. They could ask them to headhunt a number of people. They could get 3 names at the end and make a decision. Of course, they could consult with people who are respected in football. But there's an awful lot of clowns, Bill, who are newspaper respected, but not actually very smart around football. This is the beginning of the next
All right, I want to ask
comedy show.
Do you see that this is the beginning of a new crisis?
No, I don't agree with Eamon on it at all. I think if I were looking for a new manager, it's better to do, I think, what they're trying to do than the people who picked the managers before who have no football experience whatsoever.
Right.
Obviously, it depends on the calibre of person that you get in to do the job. But I would certainly, I mean, the last gamble was a gamble on Steve Staunton, which hasn't worked out. And every manager's appointment is a gamble anyway. You have to reduce the odds as much as you can. And I would certainly rather have football people with some experience in the game than somebody who hasn't had experience in the game, which has been the FAI in the past. I think the principle is right. How you go about it, Eamon...
John, if Manchester United, Liverpool or Arsenal, or the English Football Association or the German and Dutch Football Association were looking for a manager tomorrow, do you think anyone, any of those clubs or any of those national associations would say, we're not going to do it, we're going to get someone outside? Let me ask the bloody question.
Well, they don't, but I think they should.
Oh, you do?
I do. Well, look at England. Barrick appointed McLaren. What does Barrick know about football?
Who?
Barrick.
Brian Barwick.
Barwick. Sorry,
the chief executive.
The chief executive of the Football Association.
But can I...
No, can I just finish, Bill? I think...
The last time they went down this route, they got Brian Hamilton before they appointed Brian Kerr.
Now, you're not being fair. Brian Hamilton wasn't in the same position as... Brian Hamilton went out to make recommendations, and the people in the FAI made the final decision. What John Delaney said, they're not going to make the final decision.
John,
they're going to leave
give me a few names.
To do it.
Who would you trust?
To what?
If it was your house, who would you trust?
To what? To make the recommendation?
To make the recommendation?
Yeah.
I'd say George Graham would be a runner.
Why not give George Graham the job?
Well, that might happen.
Where do you stand on this, Liam?
George Graham could be a runner in the job. Liam could be a runner in the job.
I'm fascinated listening to these two.
No, I think obviously getting the right people.
But why doesn't George Graham become chief executive of the FAI then?
I think that it shows that there should be a football person within the FAI already, like Beckenbauer is with the Germans.
Yeah.
like Rummenigge has been with the German team. There should be a player in there already,
but
in an ambassadorial stroke advising role.
Yeah.
But they've never had anybody like that. They never really wanted anyone like that.
But the reason Beckenbauer's in there is for Liam is for his football knowledge.
Yeah,
right. So he has an input into.
Yeah, but they're going to get someone that they don't know about. They're going to get someone.
No, but they haven't got that now. So what they're going to come up with? It depends on who they come up with, and that's a lottery, Bill. I think that's a major point that Eamon's saying. But they might pick people who really might have vested interest in somebody getting a job and things like that.
Yeah, except that, but can I go back to you, because I heard you...
Sorry, do you not think the principle of it is right? Do you not think it's better that some professional footballers are better with the football knowledge, and there will be people out there. I can't think of anybody.
Yeah,
you've got to pick people
who have no football knowledge.
But you can't subcontract out to strangers.
But Eamon, I need to make this point to you. I heard you make the point last week on radio that you felt that a subcommittee should be established involving John and Liam and others to actually make a recommendation on who should be. But isn't that exactly the same thing as...
Well, I'll tell you, I did say that, and I was wrong.
Oh, you were wrong?
Yeah, I'll tell you why I was wrong. Because I didn't take into account the fact that John and Liam are working as analysts in the media here for RTE, the Herald and the Tribune, respectively. And when I thought it through, I realised that that was a huge impediment.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't...
Fair point.
So I was wrong, but I thought it through. I was asked to respond.
But the principle is correct.
No, the principle, well, let me tell you, if it was John and Liam, I'd have no problem with it.
But that's the principle of it.
Hold on, but it was strangers, people who know nothing about Irish soccer, people who, as Liam says, may have agendas. George Graham mightn't like X, Y mightn't like... There's professional headhunters out there who will go and get you the person you want. That's their business. And they work for corporate Ireland, they work for people corporately all the time. What you give them...
They're not football people, though.
What you give them is a profile or a list of names, a wish list. You give them George Graham, you give them Paul Jewell, who should get the job, you give them Liam Brady, and you go, now, they're the guys I want. You give them Jose Mourinho. They know how to get people. They know what...
Somebody with no football experience in.
No, they are headhunters, John. They come back to you, and then you make your choice.
Yeah, but they're not football people.
John, John...
You know, football is a different business to any.
Listen, hold on a minute. The guy who is, when you're on a board of directors, and you have corporate and executive responsibility, say, if you're an executive director, you may not know how to do the IT. I mean, the guys who invented Google don't necessarily, not the best tech wizards. What they do know is they know how to take advice, they know how to read a CV, and then they know how to make a decision.
Yeah, but that's people in their business.
There's nothing magical about football's full of fools, John, as you well know.
I know, but you have to sort out...
There's a hell of a difference between a business and sport.
There isn't.
There is in a playing sense, no.
There has to be.
Not necessarily in running the club,
but
in running the team.
The key that's come out of this, Liam's point about Rummenigge and Beckenbauer and their link to German football and their consulting role within the associations is the key.
Yeah,
we don't have anyone like
absolutely.
that.
I think it's a terrific idea.
Yeah, but we can't have an instant Beckenbauer, an instant Rummenigge, and going around the world looking for a guy. Oh, come over, I read him. I can imagine. There'll be 10 of them. They'll all come in with, I know this fella, I read about him in the page. Great fella, he's very wise.
Well, no, listen, 24 hours ago we tossed around a few names, and you've had 24 hours to think about it. Any other names? I mean, for instance, Atkinson has said he's interested.
No, Bill. Absolutely not.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But
he has his baggage, Bill, and it's baggage we don't want in Irish football. Most strongly
that's a very strong point. I agree with that. But have you come up with any names? For instance, the former, what is he now? The French guy. I haven't got his name.
Troussier.
Yeah, Troussier has indicated he's interested, and he is a terrific pedigree. So.
Yeah, it's only since yesterday, Bill. There will be names come up. Eamon's come up with Paul Jewell. I like Paul Jewell. I mean, if I was to do it today, if it was my job to do it today, I would say Paul Jewell has a good CV and he's done a very good job in what he's done. But there's no hurry in doing it. Liam, I don't know whether Liam is interested in the job or not. There's Graham Siness. There will be lots of people, but my preference, and I think it'd be Eamon's preference, I don't know about Liam, would be Paul Jewell at the moment.
Yeah, but I've heard
there might be other names like the French man that you mentioned that we never thought of yesterday.
That's right.
There's no hurry on...
More names will come up, but I think one of the recurring themes throughout today's radio programmes that I heard was that there was no hurry. Let's take our time. Let's wait until January to make the appointment.